game time.
What's going on, everybody?
Whoa.
Welcome back to Digital Game Time. We're live here on this beautiful Monday night of October the 9th.
You look exhausted off of that.
You almost have to be. Yeah,
I was waiting for you to finish up and switch the screen to show us, and I was gonna act like I was the one screaming, but you held it too long, and I'm like,
you not screaming.
It tired me out.
Fatigued you more than me actually.
I was winded after that one.
Oh my goodness! You need to see a doctor, Rick. This is your family friendly show.
Because they're gonna find something wrong with me
about gaming, movies, and pop culture. I'm Leo, along with
Rick,
and Francisco couldn't be here with us today. He's out living the dream, folks. Yes, the American dream. He is Disney World bound.
That's the American dream,
isn't it?
I mean,
every time I speak to somebody that's not from our beloved country, that's one of the first places they want to go to Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah, but it's kind of, I don't know. I don't consider it an American dream. I mean, it sounds like an other country dream, but I don't know. I mean,
well, the American dream doesn't belong to the Americans anymore. Let's just say it that way.
Native Americans?
It's like you come here
regular Americans,
because the dream is you can better yourself.
Not neutralized. No, I'm just kidding.
That's just my take on it. I don't think.
But it's kind of like one of those things like where, yeah, I understand that part. Like a lot of us, especially Latin countries, love to come to the U.S. to go to either Disneyland or Disney World.
Right.
Mainly Disney World because it's bigger. But it's kind of like us saying like, oh, I want to go to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Over there, they see it as like, they don't consider it a Paris dream.
Even though they do have Euro Disney.
That's true. Did
it ever go bankrupt? I heard it was on the verge of bankruptcy.
I don't know. That sounds like a question for Pancho.
Like he's a few years after it opened.
He's like the Disney enthusiast.
That's true.
He knows all the new news of what's going on with Disney.
Yep, that's true. He typically hits up those Disney and Star Wars forums and whatnot.
That is true. We'll ask him when he comes back.
Yeah.
Next week. No, not next week. The week after, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
This is going to be a 2 full weeks of DGT without Francisco. Stay tuned for the shenanigans that are about to ensue. Without further ado, let's get right to it.
Just beat each other up for no reason.
Kill each other. What dropped this week, Rick?
So this came out.
It's the new Justice League trailer.
Yesterday, I believe. Yesterday, maybe Saturday, but I think it was yesterday. So I like Pancho's response to when he noticed this too. It's like he can't let himself, or there's no point to letting himself get excited over something that he knows that's not going to work. Because as we talked about on last week's show, they've already announced that this is it. They're not going to continue that MCU style where they're
like all the characters' movies connect somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
They matter to each other somehow.
So each movie is going to be its own individual movie. Yeah, they're in the same universe, but they're not going to make that effort to make them connect. Right. Where one stops, another one begins, kind of thing, like MCU has been doing. So yeah, I get what he's saying, what Pancho said, and it makes perfect sense. It's like you want to see something nice. You want to hope like, oh, they're going to put this in here. You're going to see that. And this is going to come true finally on the DC side. But it's like, nope, this is it. I mean, obviously, they're not going to scrap their idea that they spent so many time and money into making this, which is
right.
When is it supposed to come out? Is
like,
it next?
Like 2020, something like that?
No, dude, this is
I'm just kidding.
This is
this November.
November. Yeah, there you go. November. It's just in November. So obviously they can't can this idea. But it's kind of like, yeah, like, this is it. It's not going to be
a standalone film.
It's not going to be a continuation, and they're just going to go their individual route, which sucks because I was waiting to see. MCU has been dominating over here, and I wanted to kind of see what DC was all about. Right. And they started to kind of finally pick up steam, and they're just like, nah.
Just quit on that whole idea.
That sucks.
They bailed.
That really sucks.
They're cutting their losses early.
I like the action that I'm seeing in it, and if they were to somehow take out the names, the DC names, and just make it a superhero movie, this would have been like freaking awesome.
Yeah,
because they could have gone off and done their own tangents of other stuff, but obviously it's all Batman. I mean, not all Batman. DC characters, so obviously they can't do that. But
I'll be honest with you. I think that Marvel has it down when it comes to the movies. They always get an 8, but when it comes down to the trailers, Marvel doesn't even come close to the trailers that DC has with some of these. I think the whole in-your-face attitude, it's just the attitude and tone of the trailers. They're so in-your-face, the heavy rock riffs. I think they got it down with.
But isn't that kind of also?
I think it gets me more excited to go watch the film than any Marvel film that I've actually seen.
But isn't that also kind of a negative because they show you all the good stuff? And when you go see the movie, you saw all the good stuff.
No, well, yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the movies are better. I'm just saying the trailers.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Trailers get me more pumped up
because they're showing you all the good parts. They're not hiding anything.
They're going all out, whereas Marvel's holding back. For obvious reasons. Yeah. And I'm not saying they're doing things wrong. It's just if you were just judging them based on the trailers.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
I think
like if the movie movie never came.
I think the WB wins.
It's like, because they gave you everything up front. Like, what's coming. And if it were to stop there, then obviously, DC would win. But we obviously know that's... So for me, it's kind of like hard to say, like, I like it, but I don't want to see all the good, the glory, and then just be like, at the movie, I saw this.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Shout outs to the WB Battletoad. Yeah,
the Battletoad.
It's a Battletoad. Let's call it what it is.
He was the fourth
Marvel
one.
Studios
switching gears
competition.
So this is kind of like a behind the scenes kind of little quick.
I kind of like what they're doing with these little featurettes where it's not a trailer, but it really is a promotional segment that they're doing, and I kind of like all these little insights because
it's like a glorified teaser. Because it doesn't show you everything else that we were just talking about, the best parts of it.
Because they know they got the fans already, right? Yeah. They know they know we're gonna go see these films. They know they got us. Like they don't even have to put a trailer in. They know we're expecting that quality out of the Marvel films. But now they're kind of going after the people who are fans of these actors and actresses. And how do they go after them? Even if they don't really care much for the Marvel films themselves, they appeal to them through the actors. So what do? These little featurettes like, hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. And I'm in the newest...
Pepper Potts.
I'm in the newest Thor film. I wasn't saying that was Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't even know. Was it?
It's not. No, it's Blanchett. Katie Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate. So I liked. I don't know if for anybody that's seen that clip before, the title of it, they titled it "Hella Good," and because they were basically praising how good of a not a good person, but like how good of the role that she's playing as the villain, being the first MCU female villain.
Yeah.
So they were kind of, and that's why they were showing a lot of kind of interviews of her, of what to expect and blah blah blah. So I like that title, "Hella Good." That was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's clever.
That's pretty cool. So what are we looking at now, Rick?
So all the comics aside, Marvel, DC, in comes Pacific Rim 2.
Yes.
We were waiting for this for some time.
We've been asking for Pacific. That was on one of my top 5.
It was.
Top 5 most wanted sequels.
They're listening.
And the internet's peoples are listening to your humble servant. No, I'm so hyped, man. I mean, I haven't seen the trailer. Even right now as we're speaking about it, I'm looking at you most of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm really hyped for a Pacific Rim 2, man. it's got John Boyega.
Yep.
You know, and he's already proven himself in my eyes to be a really good leading character.
Yep.
And it's just more of the same, and I couldn't ask for more. If it was the exact same movie again, with different actors, I'd be happy. I'm not gonna lie.
A remake of the first one.
Just a remake of the first.
No,
you know.
Well, so far from what I can tell, I haven't really like studied this and like looked at it millions of times. I've just seen. This is probably the third time maybe that I've seen it, and it's like this. Like I haven't like really paid full attention to it. But from what I can tell, and now it looks like it's all the different like the countries. You know how they each had their what do they call it?
There's Gaiju, and there's the Gaiju are the monsters.
What did they call it? What did they call the robots? Man, I forgot what they were called.
Voltron Force.
Sure, we'll call them Voltrons. So, but each country or nationality had their own. Remember, there was the Russians, there was the Americans, there was the Japanese. I think now it looks like they're kind of feuding for each other.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It sounds like they're trying to dominate, I guess.
Wait, then before we continue, let me pause this. Let me hit the time out. Flag on the plate. No, I'm just kidding. No flag on the plate. Have you seen the movie Monster?
Monster. Which one?
I think it's called Monster. I'm not 100% sure. But it's about this girl who suddenly one day like she steps on this playground.
Oh,
and whenever
she
steps on the playground, like a giant monster appears.
She like it mirrors her movement or something like that.
Over in Japan, and it mirrors her movements. Mm-hmm. So if she's playing on the playground, just walking around, running around, her monster counterpart over in Japan is running amok in the city, and
I think it is called Monster.
She's unaware that she's actually stepping on people and running through buildings and such, and it's a really good film.
Oh,
if you haven't seen it,
I haven't seen it.
I should have told you. I was gonna mention it to you. I think I saw it this summer.
Okay.
I think
it didn't come out that long ago. It was barely like maybe within a month.
Yeah. Well, no, it's been more than a month that I saw it.
Dude. I think I just barely seen a couple trailers of it not that long ago. Yeah, dude.
Oh man!
But anyways,
I saw it more than a month ago.
It did look like a kind of like a clever, funny kind of movie.
I saw it more than a month ago, and it was actually really good. Really, cool. Really.
Who's the actress?
Strongly recommend.
She's a famous actress, right?
Yeah, Catwoman. She was in Les Miserables.
And
Hathaway.
And Hathaway. There
you go. Yeah. So. Really, really enjoyed it. Bam!
Nice little tangent of Pacific Rim.
Back to Pacific Rim.
But so, I like this genre, this theme. I love the mecha. I love the robots. Yeah,
we need more of it.
Definitely. And like how you mentioned calling them Voltron, we need a Voltron movie like this.
We do.
That would be so amazing.
I think
not like also, Power Rangers.
That was also in my Furious 5. I think
so.
Voltron request.
Not like Power Rangers. Power Rangers is cool, but that new movie that they made, I mean, it was okay. It was good, entertaining.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the essence of Power Rangers that we were used to growing up watching it. Or I was watching it. I don't know if you watched it.
I didn't. I mean, I saw the first season. I'm not gonna lie, but the whole time I hated on it because I kept saying, "This is just like Voltron. Let's just bring Voltron back."
And actually,
but then later I realized that the creator is the same guy.
I was gonna say,
so I was like, okay,
but I didn't find that Haim Saban, something like that.
Nick Saban.
Something.
Oh, no, Nick Saban. He's the coach of one of the college football teams. Never mind.
It's Saban. Saban something or something Saban. I can't remember.
Yeah. But it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually found that out, that the creator was the same guy, and I was like, oh man, I gave him so much hate, like undeserved. Like if you created one thing and then create another thing that's similar to it, then I don't think that's technically like ripping off.
Oh, he's invisible.
Like ripping off your
He's invisible. I was going to say
Green Ranger.
My boy, Tommy, Green Ranger.
Tommy.
That's what it's all about.
I always kind of like the white one.
Well, he actually...
The suit of the white one.
Okay. Well, he ended up being the White Ranger when he came back after he was destroyed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler? Yeah, from like 20 years ago? Dang.
Oh, what a big spoiler.
They left you on a cliffhanger on that one.
Actually, I think I stopped watching by that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I started watching again when I heard there was a White Ranger on a different kind of dinosaur or something. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I saw the episode and I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I think
when we started hitting like high school ages, when I started kind of like steering away from it.
Okay.
All junior high, I was like,
yeah,
Power Rangers.
Pokemon. Yeah,
Pokemon
what's going
news.
On here?
So as you can tell, you can see we've got like.
Hold on while episodes. I bow out.
While you bow out. We've got like 4 episodes of us out there in the outside trying to catch raid battles and whatnot. I'm a Pokemon enthusiast. I love Pokemon ever since the get-go, the cartoon.
And I love watching this guy and Francisco play Pokemon. They get so into it.
It's fun. It's a good.
My daughter, shout outs Angela. She loves Pokemon still. She still plays it. But
so the reason I get
into it when she's into it.
You get into it.
Yeah, or when you guys are into it.
By association.
But because, just like it's more of a social game for me. It's not so much
It's a fun game.
I want to play it.
I mean, I know some people that are out there right now up to like midnight, 1, 2 a.m. playing, taking over gyms. That's a little too hardcore for me. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's a game that's getting them out there. Why not,
A wise man once told me, or I heard a wise man once say, nothing good happens after 10 p.m. So...
They could be running amok. Who knows? No. So the reason why we included this here was because, as many of you viewers out there already know, the whole legendary how they're switching them around. Yeah. So last week we had NT, which is the fire legendary dog that was now rotated into the Americas. But more beyond that, there was potential leaked information. So my understanding on this was, and again, this could be completely false, but this is what was said. There was an email, I believe it was from Niantic Japan. I believe it was a worker responding to a player in regards to some kind of support ticket or issue or something that was created. This person responded basically stating that whatever issue should be resolved, it's going to take effect, or it's not going to be looked into until the whole legendary, the rotation is completed, after which Ho-Oh was basically going to be revealed. So I don't think if this is true, it wasn't advertently stated like, oh, this is public information, like everybody knows. This is kind of like a slip up kind of thing. So basically it's just stating that in December, once this dog, which is ending in October, the next one starts in November. So at the end of November to the beginning of December is when the next
wave of them is coming out.
Well, it's not a wave because it's just the next legendary.
Yeah.
So like how they did the Mewtwo raids where you had to get a special pass to participate.
Oh, I see.
That's going to be the next one. Ho-Oh.
Okay.
Which isn't really ground-shaking news because we saw in this particular trailer, which was stating legendary battles, and he was in there, so you knew he was coming, just not when.
It was not a surprise.
So now we kind of have a time frame of when that's going to happen. So it's more Pokemon news, more stuff to look forward to.
Cool. Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. So
yeah. You know what I'm excited for?
What are you excited for?
The newest Rockstar game. Ah! Yeah. Last week, we gave it a little primer.
We did.
We knew the trailer was going to drop
primer
Tuesday after DGT Live.
Time to splash on the peep.
So, I mean, for a lot of people, this is almost a week-old news.
Yeah.
Right by now. But this is the first time that we're bringing it to you on DGT Live and bringing you some reactions to it. Great-looking game.
It's actually the first time I'm looking at it. So,
like right away, right off the bat, the visuals look unlike anything we've seen before. It looks so
pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, but stuff that Naughty Dog does is rarely matched in terms of visual fidelity.
Is this in-game footage though?
Yes. Well, at least that's what they've informed everybody, and I do believe.
Wait, is this Naughty Dog? I keep forgetting. Is this Naughty Dog or Rockstar?
Rockstar seems to have matched the visuals that Naughty Dog is so keen for.
That's what's confusing me, because this is reminding me a lot of The Last of Us. It has that smoothness to it.
That smoothness, polished look, and you know what? I don't even know why it's still surprising. It's Rockstar. They've been on the top of the video game world since they released GTA 3.
Yeah.
and they haven't looked back.
Cheat codes.
However, one thing that was always kind of that they were not well known for was the visual effects, you know, and this obviously brings it up a big notch, because if you remember, GTA 5 was initially made for PS3, Xbox 360. Later, it was ported to PS4,
right,
and Xbox One and PC platforms. This was the first game that they make for this next generation, you know. So I think it's just an amazing looking game. We already know what to expect from Rockstar. Nothing but greatness. We won't settle for less when it comes to them. And I'm happy this game's releasing spring of 2018.
I could just imagine what their testers are like. You know, once they got some working, you know, something that they can hand people to test it out, to play it.
Oh, yeah.
I could just imagine how they feel when, like, a new game hits them first. Like, we're waiting for the final result.
Giddy, probably.
But I wonder, how they get it. But still, I would imagine that quality, that detail that they put into it.
Although I have to say, I met a guy who was a tester for EA
a guy
a long time ago, and I asked him, like, "Hey man, don't you love it? Like it's great. You know, you get to see the games months before they release." And he kind of gives me like, yeah, it's good. You know? And I'm like, wait a minute.
Well,
like,
I mean, it depends.
That doesn't sound too exciting. And he says, well, here's the thing: you get the games, but you sign a contract where you can't see a word about those games. Yeah. You know, so it's not exciting in the sense that you could tell your friends.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's not exciting in the sense that you just play a snippet of the game, so you don't even have a sense of what's really going on, like storyline wise, or who your character is.
Yeah,
how far the progression tree has gone in that segment of the game they're testing.
Right.
To where you might not be playing at a full power or for full capacity.
Yeah, I get that.
And in addition to that, the graphics always look awful.
They're dumbed down because
the game is not complete yet.
Yeah,
sometimes he was telling me sometimes there's textures missing, so it's just like a piece of the screen that you're playing will be like a wireframe. So it's literally tech work that you're doing. You're just looking for bugs. And he says it's a lot of writing. You have to like sit there and write something, play for a couple minutes, write something, test the jumping, test the whatever, write your comments.
Well, I would imagine it depends on what you're doing, because there's debuggers that are basically, you know, trying to find out all these issues and problems and trying to figure out how to fix them. While there's game testers that just play them just for the thrill to see, you know, how it's going, what's making sense, what isn't kind of deal.
No, what he pretty much informed me of is that at the time EA was using the testers to pretty much
fix the problems as well.
Test for everything, not just to see if the game was fun. It was more than anything, they check and see how well it plays towards the end of the production, towards the end. And
see, you know what?
All along, they're just kind of like trying to figure out like why, you know, they're trying to break the game in a way. They're trying to figure out ways to make it glitch.
Right. So that it doesn't release with them.
So that then the debuggers recode it and fix that problem.
I like how, like, for example, we've been talking about this a lot. Player Unknown Battleground, PUBG.
Right.
I like how they do their testing, because we're basically their testers. It's an early release, so it's not a finalized game, but you can still play the crap out of that game because there's a huge fan base. So whether you want a game or not,
I think last numbers I heard were somewhere around 12 million sold,
and it's not even
and it's only on PC.
Exactly.
And there's about 1 million concurrent players at all times. That's just
matchmaking is pretty sweet.
Man.
It goes by quick. I'm used to like Destiny, Halo, Call of Duty, where you're sitting for 30 seconds, a minute.
Admit, man, like this game is gonna save me tons of money this holiday season because I was looking forward to buying the new Destiny.
I'm debating that now.
And I was even considering getting like the one with all the extras.
Really?
You know, that's it was because of you. I was considering it. He's like, oh, like if Rick gets it, then we can play all the expansions together, etc., etc. Now I have no doubt that I'm not gonna get that.
I'm debating it now. I'm kind of on the line. I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not.
I'm thinking if I get it, it's gonna be because it's on some like crazy Black Friday deal next year.
Just the base game.
Not 2017 Black Friday, 2018 Black Friday when it's like $20.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
So I mean, I'm happy with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
It's a fun game.
Yeah,
it's a really fun game.
What are we looking at now, Rick?
I actually don't know. What is this, Leo?
It's the latest trailer.
Oh, Bethesda.
From Bethesda for the new Wolfenstein game. This trailer is titled No More Nazis, and we're not just showing it to you because it's the new trailer. Obviously, we would still show it to you because of that, but it's it was shot in the style of like a propaganda film where like they want to kill all the Nazis. And there's, you know how recently we've been hearing a lot of these politically correct groups that suddenly get offended on behalf of other political groups. Well, there's been a big backlash at Bethesda for anti-Nazi propaganda with this commercial. Can you believe that? There's people that are offended on behalf of all Nazis around the world. That's what are
not we're not talking about like actual Nazi neo-Nazi groups. We're talking about other people. We're talking about
gamers that see this as a bad thing, and that you're kind of like,
oh, you're gonna offend somebody with this.
Yes, it's like, what kind of a sick I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think we should all love each other and get along, but these people have proven to be the definition of evil in history. The despicable things they did during World War II with the genocide that they had going on and all that, the masses and masses of bodies that they would bury and just all this crazy stuff.
Whoa.
What was that? I missed it.
It was
inappropriate.
It was an inappropriate.
Sorry, guys. We're trying to be a family-friendly show. Didn't realize.
It looked like it. That's what it looked like to me.
Okay, but sorry, yes, I mean, like, there's this this thing now, and I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's just like a hypersensitive thing from this younger generation where everybody's just so afraid to offend another group of people, including Nazis, believe it or not. That's just so backwards thinking. Like, our generation, our worldwide culture is gonna come to an end pretty soon if this continues going the way it is.
Like
we're becoming too soft as a people, I think. And you know what? If somebody feels offended, we gotta teach people to speak up for themselves. Yeah. You know?
See, for something like this, I can see that this in no way is making fun of any particular group.
And that's the other thing. Absolutely, they're not making fun. It's a video game. I think it's been 2 decades since Wolfenstein's been a thing.
It's probably longer. That's like that's like an OG. That's like Doom and beyond.
Yeah, it's like maybe 3 decades. So it's been 2 or 3 decades where they've been killing zombies already. I don't know why this is even news to a lot of people.
See, but to me, it's kind of like a movie based on actual events.
Yeah,
Nazis aren't something that's made up. It's something that happened. This is just kind of like a tangent. Like, they took those elements and made their video game. Now, I could understand if they did the whole Holocaust, the whole World War II, and they made fun of it. They made jokes about those actual events. That I can kind of see how it would.
Yeah, it's a sensitive subject, absolutely.
But in no way are they touching on that specifically.
It's an action shoot 'em up type of game where you're shooting Nazis. For crying out loud. And
Nazi zombies there.
A lot of these people are, criticizing Bethesda, like, I can't believe you're bringing in political whatever, like, it's just ridiculous.
Meh.
They use the tagline, something like it was kind of like the "Make America Great Again" tagline, but mixed with Nazism. You know, where they're trying to make You might want to look it up for me, fact check me. But it was something like that, and people are thinking
we don't want to promote negativity.
and they took it as if though they're trying to say something about politics or whatever.
Yeah,
bringing politics into it. It has nothing to do with it.
It's just a what do you call it? A scheme. It's just for fun, poking.
Yeah.
At the topics.
Bethesda, I hope doesn't like release some lame.
Yeah, I hope they don't water it down or back it up.
No, it's a game. They
have to go full force. Just go through with it. Get that game out
historic
there. It looks beautiful, by the way.
It looks like a great game. This is a day one purchase. I think for a lot of people.
Snap. I thought you were gonna say you.
Maybe what I've seen so far, it looks really good.
It does look amazing.
But as we all know, I have a bad reputation for my backlog, and $60 on day one for this game, I don't think is.
Do it, Leo.
Very wise.
Do it for our millions of fans.
Oh my goodness.
Do it for our millions of fans.
Not gonna do it.
I don't know.
Stranger Things, new video game announced this week.
That's not Stranger Things.
Oh dang it! We got a YouTube commercial.
Well, speaking of, that
Dude,
whole
the iPhones, man. I can't wait to go back to iPhone.
Really?
It's just people criticize iPhones for not having what's the word, like the extra features like Android does.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've discovered in my almost 2 years of having an Android now, from switching from an iPhone, is that iPhone is consistent, man. It's like it works all the time. It's smooth, and it's
like Windows versus Mac.
At least in my experience, it was very rare that I ran into a glitch, and it played really nice with my PCs. Like if I wanted to transfer files and stuff like that, it played really well. It wasn't a hassle whatsoever. I actually like the program that you install on my Windows PC. To be able to transfer files back and forth.
Like iTunes and stuff like that?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So it kind of does a lot of stuff for you that you didn't know you wanted until it did it for you. It's like, it's really... And plus Siri, I use Siri every day. And then when I switched over the voice command service on Android, it's just,
I never really cared much for Siri or the Android equivalent of it.
But let me tell you, like, it's probably because you never had Siri. Have you ever had an iPhone?
My wife did.
Your wife did, but you, like yourself, something that was yours. No? See, I didn't care much for Siri either. But boy, once I didn't have her, I realized how much I actually was using her. It's like I used her like what time does this movie start? Bam, like instant. What time does the game start? Sometimes I'm a big 49ers fan. Sometimes I don't know what time the game is scheduled for. It's like I pull out, hey Siri, what time does the game start? Boom, this time. Would you like some tickets, Leo?
You're like, whoa, yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, well, it's gonna cost you this, man. Oh, never mind. I was like, okay. Those are the things. It's just it doesn't have many features, but the ones it does have, they're slick and they're intuitive.
As Pancho would say, agree to disagree.
Yeah, I mean.
No, I mean, okay, since we're talking about it, I've got no gripe with Apple. I'm just used to Android, same as I'm used to
a comfort thing.
to Windows. I just can't get past the look and feel of Apple products.
Yeah.
They just feel bubbly, they feel thick, they feel awkward. Whereas Android and even using OSs like Windows feel more natural to me.
Right.
I don't have to worry about.
And here's the thing, on Windows versus OS, I like Windows for my PC. I prefer that. I've used both. For professional purposes, I've used the OS systems, the Apple Macintosh systems. And, at home, for personal purposes, I've always used, or actually also for home professional services, I have preferred, the Windows systems. And, but when it comes to the phones, man, it's just, it just, I don't know. Android stutters. Sometimes it crashes.
Yeah.
And another thing I've noticed is that the phones are super slick. Like the first 3 months, like when they're first released, yeah, they'll kill the iPhone. But after those 3 months, once a couple of updates hit them, Oh man, is it bogged down? It's slow as molasses, man.
Well, see, that's gonna be the problem right there, because you're gonna get a lot of people.
Not to mention the battery, also.
Yeah.
I mean, iPhone batteries also deteriorate over time, but it seems like this is like cheap on a whole new level.
See, but you're gonna so the main problem about that though is you're gonna get a lot of people are gonna tell you the same thing: root your phone, take out all that unnecessary garbage, change the power consumption. So there's gonna be that customization available to it.
I get it, and but the thing I don't want to be dealing with is like disabling a lot of stuff that I like to use just to conserve a little bit more battery life. Which, don't get me wrong, I've done that to my phone already. But whereas when I had my iPhone, it's like it already was, it had the settings to not consume as much battery.
I'll root myself.
It's like
Done.
It's like the phone by default consumes as little bit as it possibly can. Whereas the Android, it's kind of like, you're gonna have to tell me how to do it.
You're gonna get the iPhone X then?
No. I'm not gonna switch anytime soon. I'm the type of guy that I get a new phone once every like 3 or 4 years. So I'm still good with my S7 Edge.
S7 Edge.
But I'm definitely leaning towards
looking forward to it already, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to Apple when it comes to smartphones.
All right.
Don't get me wrong, still love the PC side of things, but when it comes to my phone, I just like ease of use and
all right.
reliability.
Sounds
my
good.
computer can crash as much as it wants to.
Yeah, I don't care. Moving on.
Stranger Things. We've been having this conversation for too long. Stranger Things, new video game. I don't even know. It's by Netflix too. It's like Mother, Earthbound.
Yeah,
so those games, those types of games. It's in that vein.
I have yet to play it, but I downloaded.
I don't play games like this, but I think I might start. I mean, Stranger Things plus the music. Have you seen the trailer to this?
I have actually.
The music in the trailer is just bonkers, out of this world.
That's it. Switched.
All right, South Park is coming up pretty soon. Almost here.
I gotta admit,
the trailer was released
when the first one, the Stick of Truth, came out. I was like, all right, cool, I'll play it eventually. I even bought it for the PS3, but I like only played it for like 10 minutes and that was it. After
Great
this
game,
one,
by the way.
After this one came out, I'm like, man, maybe I should go back and play that one. And I did, and I played it for a couple hours. Watch your kids around that game. A lot of profanity, a lot of
don't play this around the kids.
A lot of
that's absolutely for sure.
Immature scenes and stuff, but it is a pretty fun game, and it kind of goes back to the classic like RPG type games, where it's very simple. You know, you just customize very little of your equipment. You got your talent tree, like real simple, real linear, not as most of these other RPGs where it has this tree of things that you have to do.
Absolutely.
Which is nice, but at the same time it kind of gets complicated and overwhelming at times. So it's a very funny, simple game, and I would imagine they probably are gonna switch it up a little bit, kind of give a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more flavoring to that kind of customization, because they can't just stick with the exact same thing and make a whole new game out of it.
Right.
So I'm expecting minor changes on this one, but all in all, it looks like it's going to be another just off the wall, funny, just exaggerated everything kind of game.
I'm loving it. More of the same. Bring it on.
When is it coming out? I totally forgot. Did it say when it was coming out?
I think it's. I heard some sources saying it's coming out as early as like in a couple of weeks.
Pretty soon, right? Yeah,
The initial units, the ones that go out to reviewers and such.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And then soon after that,
public.
So really, really looking forward to this game.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and happy birthday, Mortal Kombat.
MK.
25 years later, man. 25 years of Mortal Kombat.
So today is the actual like release date of Mortal Kombat?
This week.
Okay.
It's this week. So Mortal Kombat.
Happy birth week.
Is one of the staples of my childhood.
Yeah.
Yes, it was kind of like my one of those things that symbolized my transition from being a child into a young teenager. You know, like it began that transition of
it was that
the teenage rebellious type of years where
it was your walkabout.
It was my walkabout. Yes, absolutely. This game, it's like, you know, like I come from playing Street Fighter, great game, Street Fighter 2, you know, Turbo, on SNES, and then suddenly somebody says, "Hey, have you played Mortal Kombat?" Like, no, I've seen it at the arcade. Oh, you got to play it. It's like, okay. I went and I played it, and I didn't think too much of it, and I was like, yeah, I played it. Like, you know, back then you used to go to school, you talk with your buddies about video games in school, and they would say like, did you do a fatality? Like, what's a fatality? Like, oh man, you rip their heart out, you pull their spine out, you do this, you do that. That's a fatality. And I'd be like, oh no, I haven't seen one of those. I just saw they get really bloody. Street Fighter doesn't have blood in it. And so next time I went back, I saw one of the like more experienced guys, the older guys playing it. First fatality I saw was a guy getting his spinal cord ripped out.
Oh, snap.
And it was like I got hit by Cupid right there and then. I was like, I gotta play this. I gotta learn. I gotta learn this. When they say finish him, I gotta do the little move or whatever it is. And I was hooked. I mean, the first game, I wasn't too big on the gameplay of the first game. It was really shoddy at best.
Yeah.
But once Mortal Kombat 2 came out,
yeah, when 2 came out,
it just that's where it was on from there on. It was, I don't know, something about the part 2, Street Fighter 2.
A little. Well, I think it was
Mortal
because
Kombat 2.
We already had that introduction to the Mortal Kombat series of blood and gore and violence and whatnot. So when part 2 came out, it's kind of like, oh, okay, we're gonna see more of this now. They're gonna make what we liked about part 1 and make it better. So a quick little story. Yeah. So when part 2 came out, it was on.
We're reminiscing here about Mortal Kombat.
Super Nintendo,
25 years of Mortal Kombat.
Came out on Super Nintendo, and I remember I was in, I think I want to say 6th grade, maybe 5th. Anyway, somewhere around there. And so there was these two guys that they were like best buddies. Like they would talk about everything, and I wasn't really like really good friends with them. They, you know, we were just classmates kind of. Yeah. And I remember one time, I think it was like lunchtime, I just happened to be walking by and they were talking about it. I'm like, you know, what? Like, you know, did one of those kind of things. And so we all started kind of talking about Mortal Kombat. So they were talking about like, oh, and do you know this move? And do you know how to do that move? I mean, this is pre-internet where we had access to cheats and to videos and to all this stuff. So our sources were articles,
those old video game magazines,
right?
Yeah.
So one of them actually bought the official Mortal Kombat 2 moves list, like magazine. Oh, nice. It had all the moves, all the fatalities, and like he would take it to school, show his buddies and whatever. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to get this. Like, I need to have this. But of course, this guy isn't going to give it to me. So I convinced him. I was like, can you do me a favor? Let me borrow it for a day.
Yeah.
I'll copy it. Like I mean, we're not talking about scanners. We're talking about hand copying. He goes like, all right, cool. So he gives it to me, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. This is like the Bible of Mortal Kombat. So I'm over here by hand trying to write, and I'm getting like writers. What do you call it?
Oh, your wrist starts tightening up.
Just
like
so much
tunnel.
Yeah, so much writing. I'm like, I gotta get through this. I gotta get through this. So I started like chicken scratch because I only had it for one night. Son. So I'm like, oh, busting it out as quick as I can. Like, yeah. And finally, okay. So I had this like 10-page thing, like front to back.
Oh my god.
All the moves, everything like listed. So I'm like, cool, awesome. So I give him his magazine back. Throughout the week, I'm looking at this. I'm like, man, this looks like crap. To me, this was like it needs to look cleaner, nicer. Pre-computers in everybody's home with Windows, autocorrection, none of that. We're talking about we had old style computers if we had those at home. But no, I didn't. So what did I do? I went to the public library. They didn't have access to printers so you can type and print just right off the go. They had typewriters.
Oh,
so I was like,
snap, son.
I'm getting this done. I hand typewriter typed.
Oh my god.
All the moves list. I had this like booklet that I treasured. This was like, this was like my golden treasure that I had. I was like, all the moves.
Yeah.
I knew how to do them all. I had it like typed out. It's like made it even that much more valuable because I typed every single thing. Man, that was like pre high school, pre essays. You know, before you're used to writing and stuff like that.
I gotta tell you a story like that. When I, Mortal Kombat 2, I had a friend who had a subscription to a magazine. I forgot what magazine it was, but he had a subscription to it. And he was showing me like, oh look, Mortal Kombat, it's coming out, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna get it and this and that. And he had one page with a list of moves and fatalities for each fighter. I was like, oh man, can I, and I was like, oh man, I wish I had this, this is awesome. This like you said, the Bible of video games almost, And this guy, he just goes like, yeah, you can have it. I don't care about the magazine. Oh. He gives me the magazine, dude. No. Wait. Rewind it. So, you can have it after I'm done with it, he says. But if you want this page, I just like, he tears out the page and he's like, here. And so that page, you better believe it, man. I had it. Like, if I had a laminator, I would have laminated it. But no, I had it in a little one of those pouches that you put like your important homework.
The sheet protectors.
Yeah, I put it in one of those, and like I would bring it out every time we were about to play, like at my house, like had friends over, and it's like, hey, be careful with it. Don't put your fingerprints on it.
Touch it.
Yeah, it's like, don't look at it even. No, and so that thing, I like protected it like almost with my life. No, eventually I got a tips and tricks magazine that had all that stuff in it. But yeah, man, that was
the things that we would do as kids, man.
Mortal Kombat. I remember the day Mortal Kombat 3 was about to release. I had been saving up for it. That day I told my mom, like the day before, I told my mom, Mortal Kombat 3 is going to release tomorrow, and I really want that game. So what I'm going to do after school, I'm going to walk to the mall. I'm going to buy the game, and I'm going to come back home. So I'm going to be late. I'm going to go just straight. I couldn't even wait to go home, drop off my stuff, and then go to the mall to buy it. No, I was going to walk directly to the mall, buy it, and then go home and play it. It was one of the most satisfying day one purchases of my life, I have to admit. Man. And I was all by myself. I had no friends over that day until way later in the day. And by then I had already been practicing, got pretty good with some of the characters already, and I was just like killing everybody.
Nice.
It was so satisfying. Mortal Kombat 3, still till this day, it's one of my favorite games. So they're fun. That was Mortal Kombat, man.
Happy birth week.
Happy birth week to Mortal Kombat. Ed Boon, John Tobias, thank you very much for all the memories. It's time for Leo's Furious 5.
I almost forgot about that.
In light of the recent acquisition Super Nintendo, I'm looking at you.
For a second there, I was like, should we even talk about it? We talked about it. We already talked about it. We already did our experience.
What we didn't talk about was the top 5 games missing from this console.
All right.
Yeah. All right. And these actually, they're some of my top games of all time. Of these all time. Here we go. Leo's Furious 5 top games missing from the SNES Classic library. Honorables.
Looking at you, Reggie.
Honorable mentions. Mickey Mania. Love it. Right. Really difficult. I've never actually beat that. It's so close. Never beat it.
Well, if I did.
And NBA Jam.
That was pretty fun.
The series.
That was pretty fun.
Loved it. I still love it till this day. I think it's a lot of it.
All right.
Countless hours spent playing it. Cool. Number 5. Mortal Kombat series. the Mortal Kombat series, one of the best of all time. We just spoke about it. It brings back a lot of memories. It was one of those defining games of our generation. Now, it was during that whole. It was what helped fuel that whole fighting game genre. You know, the whole scene.
What would you think would be the reason why it was?
I think it's just rights. I know that Midway, or I think it's Ed Boon, he owns the rights to Mortal Kombat now. He has released a lot of like remake bundles. Something I've noticed is that Nintendo's not including a lot of like remake games along with the classic and the classic NES or SNES. So it's just, I don't know. Mega Man's the only exception I see. They have the Mega Man, collections, and they did include Mega Man 2 in the NES Classic. But other than that,
that's a classic.
I think they've stayed away from anything else that has.
I would think it has more to do with the popularity of the console. The majority of the people, let's be honest, are going to be adults that are going to buy this. Not so much for the kids, but for themselves.
Right.
But I think Nintendo's still kind of PR-wise looking out for themselves, and they can't really include a bloody, gory game.
Well, yeah, I mean,
in something that kids are going to get their hands on.
Absolutely. This was a bloody, gory game that would even nowadays be rated.
It ruined my mind.
But, for mature audiences.
Yeah.
So, and they don't want to include the Mortal Kombat 2 version where just the green goo popping out instead of blood, because they don't want to be seen as, not presenting the full game in its entirety by the hardcore gamers. So I think it was a business decision as much as it was a PR decision.
Yeah.
On Nintendo's part. This other one, though, I can't explain why not. Number 4 on the list, Earthworm Jim. The series.
I didn't even think about that game until you just mentioned it.
That game.
Those games were awesome.
One of the
and 2
visually best games of all time.
Ow!
And sound effects, music, gameplay, it had it all, my brother.
I used
it
to
had
love
it all.
When you pass a level and it would show the cow on part 2.
Oh yeah.
It would show the cow and you can hit the buttons to make it
it would launch it.
Well done. It would say well done.
Oh.
No, in the game there was a cow launch or whatever. No, but at the end, like a kind of like a loading screen.
I see, yeah.
It was just a picture of a cow, and if you just left it, it just stood there, did nothing. But if you would mash on the buttons, like each button did a different tone, I think, for the voice. So the mouth, you just like all cheaply animated, but it would say well done.
Cool.
Well done. I remember that.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, Earthworm Jim. It's not up higher on the list just because I was never able to play through an entire game. I never actually owned the game, so I never played through the entire game. But I did also have countless hours of playing Earthworm Jim. Love that.
That was a fun game.
Hard game too. Hard game. Very difficult. Excellent. Number 3, Super Star Wars series. I know Super Star Wars and Super Empire Strikes Back were not as good, at least in my opinion, were not as good as Super Return of the Jedi, but as a whole series, I think they're some of the best video games out there. And again, this is one of those things where I think this one, they probably just weren't able to, probably didn't even have it on their radar. Because Star Wars is such a big property, Nintendo probably knew they had so much money to have it on SNES. But Super Star Wars, man, intense.
You know what? I remember the games.
Really fun.
But I don't ever really recall spending too much time on those games.
Pretty difficult. Well,
I think it's maybe
also,
just a rental.
Also, the other thing is they're very similar to each other in gameplay. There's not like one's drastically different. In my opinion, that was a good thing. They just kept adding little bits here and there to each sequel. I think that was one of the best.
Yeah.
Number 2, Street Fighter series. The Street Fighter 2 series. I'm looking at you, Street Fighter 2 Tournament Edition, Hyper Fighting. That was my first purchase for the Super Nintendo. I remember buying the basic base unit of the Super Nintendo because it was so darn expensive. And Street Fighter 2 Tournament Edition
that
cost
was like
retail
the game that everybody wanted.
$75. $75 in 1990. What was it? 1993, $75. Do the math, but I'm pretty darn sure that's over more than $110 now.
I remember one of my older brothers would always try to challenge me, like saying like he was better at me or better than me at that game.
That game started a revolution, man.
Nah, bruh.
Yeah,
for real, bro.
That game was fighting games on the map like nobody's business. Everybody's mother and grandmother was copying this game when it came to fighting, you know? Yeah.
It is actually.
Going back to Mortal Kombat, it's like they almost go hand in hand as direct competition. Marvel and DC.
Yep.
You know? That's like what they were at the time.
Marvel and DC, exactly.
Yeah, man. And it's I mean, gameplay-wise, Street Fighter 2 is king. You know? So I have it very, very high regard, and it's missing.
Yeah.
Missing.
Yeah.
That one I can't believe it's missing.
Yep.
They should have done, Nintendo, you should have done something. You know, you should have done something. What are you talking about? They did this whole rant. And
wait, no.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's on there. Turbo. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I should have done 96. Sorry, Nintendo. You did a good thing.
For a second there, I was thinking... No,
I look foolish now.
No, the thing is, though, it confused me, too, because I was thinking, like, I haven't played a lot on the Classic. I played a couple hours, mainly, like, Mega Man and Mario with my boys.
Yeah.
But I haven't really touched on any of the games. I thought I saw a Street Fighter game on there, but then we were talking about all this, you know, rights and whatever, the ownership, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't be Street Fighter. So I'm, like, agreeing with you, like, yeah, it should be on there. And now that you looked at it, it is on there. Oh, well. We have an open spot. Honorable mention bumps up to number 5.
Hashtag you're wrong, Leo.
You're wrong, Leo.
Yeah, so the honorable mention I would throw in there instead is Mickey Mania.
All right.
The other one that would be worth mentioning is Super Tecmo Bowl.
Those are fun games.
Those were really
You know
fun.
what? No, but are they on Super Nintendo? I remember the NES Tecmo
I gotta
Bowls.
admit, and I didn't put it on the list, but this is one of my personal favorites.
Blitz.
Blitz?
Oh, wait, that was 64.
Yeah,
never mind.
My personal favorites, Beavis and Butthead, the video game.
There was a
Beavis and Butthead, the video game. I spent so many hours.
I don't remember that.
Hours, Rick.
I don't remember
that game.
I do not remember that game.
So many hours. My goodness.
So one,
but it was a terrible game. So if anybody were to go back and actually play it, I don't think you'd have too much fun. Obviously, greatest games of all time. One of your favorites,
Mario RPG.
No, man, Chrono Cross.
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, but I never played it, so I can't really put it on my top 5. But Chrono Trigger, I hear, was the best of all time.
That was the game that got me into RPG.
Until this day, I still hear that's the best RPG of all time.
It was a very. I think it was because of what it included, not so much because of what do you call it?
You know what?
The timing.
Scratch that. It's my list, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna scratch Street Fighter 2 and I'm gonna put Chrono Trigger.
There you go. No, I think the reason why it was just so amazing.
Chrono Trigger, number 2.
One, it introduced a battle system where it was still the wait time. You know, you gotta wait, take your turn, kind of thing.
Right.
That was still the same, but it involved more than one player that you can attack. You can do team up attacks, double attacks, or triple attacks.
Okay.
Aside from the regular spells and everything that you can cast. And then, to me, at least to my knowledge, it was basically the first one that ever involved time, whereas you have all these different events going on in different points in time, and whatever it is that you do results in a different ending. So
nice.
It gave you that much more of a reason to try to make it, the absolute best ending. So to me, that involved all that in that game made it a good game that stood out from all the other RPG games. Because prior to that, there was Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, which was 4, 5, and 6, if I'm not mistaken, in Japan.
Yeah.
Which it never really hit to me. Like I played them once or twice and I don't like this, and I just stopped. But Chrono Trigger, it had me hooked. I rented that thing like a good month.
Should have just bought it.
Like a whole month.
It's like me with Mortal Kombat 2. Should have just bought it.
Probably.
Me with so many other games, especially this one that's on my #1 list. I regret not buying it back in the day. I should have done it. It would have been should have done it.
It would have been an amazing game to have included in there, but I see that they included Mario RPG, which is also another fun game. It's really cool. It's really awesome. But of the two, I would have definitely preferred Chrono Trigger.
Right. So #1 on the list. Got to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
We've been going on strong for
an hour. We have been rambling for a while, actually.
The Lion King. It's one of my favorite games of all time. The Lion King for the SNES. I still play that. I still play it.
Yeah?
I still play it.
That's cool.
I still play it, Rick. Almost 2 decades later.
I remember the
or
chase scene.
More than 2 decades later. They're riding ostriches.
No. In the canyon.
Oh yes,
the antelope.
Where they're running from the antelope.
I remember that chase scene was epic when it came out. I was like, what is this?
Yes. That game has so many epic moments. It's so hard by today's standards of gaming, but I still play it. I don't know what it is. I keep going back to that game. The game keeps beating me to death, but I still go back to it. And I love that game. I remember I played that game so much that I mastered it. And then you know how they had those kiosks at retail stores?
Yeah.
Like Kmart, for example?
Yeah, let me show you how to play.
I would go to it and I would beat the entire game in a matter of like 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh. That was awesome. All right.
Beat the game?
No, in that short of a time.
Oh, well I just kind of like...
That is true. You could just skip all the...
I tried almost like... I did it more like speedrun style where I'm not going after killing everybody or getting all the...
Just A to B. Get out of the way.
No, yeah, I just fire through it, man. I already knew how to do everything, and I loved it, man. I still love that game.
It was a fun game.
I knew, being Disney and all, I had an idea that it wasn't gonna make it to this console, the SNES Classic, but it would have been nice.
See, it would be pretty sweet if they had network capability so that later on down the line, for another $5-10, you can download like another pack,
right,
and play a couple more games.
I think that, as silly as this may sound, if the Nintendo Switch had the classic games for sale through the store or whatever, whenever they start releasing that,
eventually,
if this game comes up,
right?
You're gonna see me walk to one of those stores, man. Yeah, man.
You're gonna buy a Switch.
I regretted selling my PSP, my modded PSP, because I had the emulator on it, the SNES. And I had a ton of PSP games, a ton of like the other games that were released to the original consoles. I mean, I feel safe saying this now just because I don't have it anymore. But when I did, that's all I played. I love that game so much. I even went back and ordered original Super Nintendo version of the game.
The actual cartridge.
Not just the cartridge. I ordered the whole shebang. The box. Made sure it had the
instruction manual.
It even came with a little like registration card that used to come with. And I'm even considering, now this is going overboard. I haven't done it yet. I don't have to do it anytime soon, but I've considered getting the original with the instruction booklet in color as opposed to the black and white one that they used to put for the second wave of production.
I don't even remember that. I don't remember that they were.
Super Nintendo had this thing where the first wave of production games, like if let's say you buy a day one edition of The Lion King, the booklets came in color. But let's say they run out of that first wave, the first launch wave edition of the games. The following ones were made, I guess, slightly cheaper or to save money because they knew they weren't going to sell out of those copies. So they made them in black and white. And one of them, I think, was like had a SKU that said made in Japan, and the other had a SKU that said made in. Well, I'm 100% sure. Yeah, man.
I don't know because usually most of the games that I always use.
Yeah. I regret not buying
traded with somebody or something.
I regret it so much. I must have rented that game like 4 or 5 different times. I could have just paid for the game. I could have.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I never did.
Video game rentals back then were like $7, $6 or so after taxes.
I mean, I guess it depends on where you rented from, but
most places
it averaged out to almost like $2 a day.
Yeah,
depending on the rental place.
I remember I would always go to this one place which doesn't exist anymore. But this one
None
place,
of them do.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the building itself. It's not even there. This place will give you like a 5-day rental for like $6-7 or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so I would take advantage and I would rent like Chrono Trigger.
Oh, snap.
I'd rent it for like a whole week, and then like on the day that it was due, I'm like, should I take it? Should I not take it?
You're like, Mom, I kept an extra day. Might as well keep it.
See, the thing was, remember, cartridge. It was saved on the actual memory of the cartridge.
Okay.
So with a game like Chrono Trigger, where you put time and effort into saving it, and you give that cartridge back, maybe they might have another copy, but it might not be the same one that you're going to get again, so it won't have the same file. So I was always like, get the same one back. So I would just like keep it one more day, and because I kept it one more day, well, that meant like a whole another 5-day rental. So
God.
I think I went like a month like that.
Probably,
No, not even Redbox. Not even Redbox. It was like actual video rental store that we would have to go to.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Real Series brought to you by
nothing.
Leo.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're back.
Well, this is that time of the day where we say goodbye to everybody. M-I-C.
No.
K-E-Y.
R-I-C.
R-I-C-K.
K-E-Y.
R-I-C-U-D-N-A. So.
A-B-C-D-E-F-G-H-I-J.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of DGT Live. Remember to join us on all the other forms of social media. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, check out some of our sweet shirts that we have. Original designs.
Not these.
By all of us from Digital Game Time.
Not me.
At digitalgametime.com/merchandise. Also, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy the content. Until next time, enjoy your games and love your families. I'm Leo along with
Rick.
Bye. See you later.
It's Daddy's game time.